Hello and welcome back to another episode of Transport Fever 2. In this episode, we're going to continue looking at more cities and trying to fix their traffic problems. So the first one we're going to look at today is Green Bay. If we turn on our destinations layer, we can see we have tons of people coming into Green Bay from this road, and we have tons of people going in and out of the city through this road over here. So our goal today is to clear that up by doing what we've been doing and adding more bus stops to help get them to these train stations. So hopefully, because we have a line that runs down this way and a line that runs out this way, we can get all those cars off of the roads and instead on the train. However, our first issue here is this station's very full. Just a moment ago it was overflowing. So what we need to do is come in, we'll expand the station just a little bit more. Maybe this could be for a future expansion if we ever need it. Add in some passenger platforms. And then we can build some of these main buildings just to help increase the amount of people that can stay here. So now I think we can hold about 200 people more than we were before. I don't know if it looks like it does work, so even though the road doesn't really line up with it, this station does work, although I think just for the sake of how it looks, we are going to get it to line up. If we could just get this at the right angle. Something like this. And then we'll just connect these roads back up. And we should be good now. So this even gives us the opportunity to have a smaller bus loop down here. So, just like we've been doing, it's time to start placing bus stops. I think we're going to go with 3. We'll have one that covers this side, one that covers this whole area, and then one that covers this small area at the bottom. But first, before we get into that, I think we're going to want to connect up these roads. If we can somehow get a road across here. Maybe there's issues with the train. Interesting. Weird that we keep getting issues. I think it's because there's technically there's an intersection there. Although we might be able to get one across at this intersection if we just delete some of these roads and do this. So it looks like these houses did some weird stuff, so we'll just get rid of those real quick. And now we can get into placing the bus stops. So, like we've been doing before, I think we're gonna get a bus station here instead of just a bus stop. So we'll get one, make it pretty big, give it enough stops, and line it up to place right across the street from the train station. And then we'll get rid of these existing stops because we're going to be redoing how the loops are routed. So we'll start out going this way and just simply place these around just far enough away from each other to be effective, but also making sure that we get every part of the map that we need to. So I think we're good with this loop, and then we'll get some others. We should get one that Well, I think we could share this one, but we don't want that one to get too overloaded just because of how close they are to each other. So we'll just have it one over here. We'll get one up here right before it crosses the tracks. Get another one on this road. Another one over here. Just keep placing it around and making sure we're hitting every space. And I think we're gonna have to come up to this road. Just so we can hit some of these areas. Because some of these are in some pretty tricky spots. I think that covers just about the whole city north of the tracks. And then here, we'll just set up a little loop that sort of outlines this whole area. And I think that's good. So let's come in and fix this road real quick, just so it makes a little more sense. We'll just place that back down. Hopefully the buildings will come back. And we should be good to set up our lines. So let's grab existing line. We'll remove those. And this will start out down here just because this line already has a few buses, but not too many, so we can leave those running just like that. We'll have to find our nearest road depot, which I think is down here. This might take a while to get into the city just because they're gonna have to come in through the road that's pretty full. We'll get 14 and just go around like this. We'll just follow the way we placed them. And that should get us all the way around to where we need to be. We actually don't need that last one. So we'll let this run so we can start getting the buses on their way, because they will have to sit through a lot of traffic to get in here. Maybe we can help just a little bit by connecting these roads. There appears to be an issue with the slope. Maybe if we give it a little more space, it'll be good. How about on this side? We delete these roads. Oh, that's not the right way. It's not really what we want. We want it to come straight out first, and then connect. Maybe if we flatten the terrain out a little bit, we'll get a more smoother hill than what it was giving us. Let's just try that again. Well, that seemed to make it worse. Let's just keep flattening it out. See what we can get. Well, I suppose this works, and then we can just delete this road and connect it up with a straight road. And now we got what we need. Alright, so now we can get back to getting our final line placed around here. So we have 14 buses yet again. And we're gonna, as usual, follow the way that we placed. And make sure we hit the ones that we want to hit I think this is pretty much good. So we'll do that. I believe we've covered all of Green Bay. We are gonna have to wait. As we can see, some of these buses haven't even gotten out of this road here. I'm thinking maybe, would we be able to upgrade this to a 3-lane road? It doesn't seem like it. I mean, if we can figure out where all these cars are trying to get to, we can make it a little better. As it seems like they're all trying to cross over here. So we can just sort of try to help out where we can. Here we got one of those weird intersections, probably blocking all of our traffic. And then we'll just bring that all the way out to here. So hopefully I'll get some more cars moving through here, just so we can start to get our buses rolling. Seems like a few of them are starting to get in, but unfortunately we are going to have to slowly wait for the buses to reach the city. Maybe it would have been better for us to try a different road depot. But anyway, here at the train station, it seems like everyone's trying to get to Bridgeport, Lexington, and Victorville. And we might need to replace these train lines at some point. I think we just simply have too many trains running on these lines. But I don't think that's something we're going to tackle today, just because of all the issues and complications that we have. Alright, so while we wait for all of our buses to slowly make their way back to Green Bay, I want to take a look at what's losing us money, because as you can see, we've been dealing with this for a while. We've been slowly losing money, and a lot of it's on our railroads. So if we come in here and we just check and see which lines are losing us the most amount of money, it looks like it's our 2 giant loops that are losing us the most money. Now I think these trains are just too expensive for what they're doing. I don't even know if it's really even necessary. I mean, perhaps it is for now, just because we haven't gotten into really improving everything around here. But I think it might be more beneficial to do some smaller train loops instead of one giant one. But I think just in an effort to sort of stop the bleeding of losing all this money on these, we're gonna replace them and choose something that's maybe a little cheaper. If we select this and see, these trains are costing us $13.3 million a year. So if we can find any train in here that's even under 10 million, we can save ourselves a bunch of money on this line. And I think we'll go back to these GE E60 trains. They're pretty much about the fastest, really effective and efficient train that we have at the moment. It does go 99 miles an hour, but it gets up to speed really quick, and we don't really have any issues with it because it's so cheap. It's about 2.5 million per year, so we could have 3 or 4 engines on this one train and still be cheaper than what we're currently running. So we'll take that, and I think we'll grab a bunch of these cars. So let's get, I'd say 6 of those would probably be good. And then we can add a second one of these on the back. And if we see here, it can reach its top speed pretty quickly. And if we add a third, it'll get up to top speed very quickly. I don't think we really need a third one. And honestly, I think we could probably get rid of one of them and just have 95 capacity on here. So quickly, I did switch out the cars with these China Type 25C, just because we get 2 times loading speed. When we're moving people around this quickly, or this many people on these trains, we need to get them on and off as quick as possible. So even though we can't get, I don't really think these bi-level cars are worth it yet, despite having the 4 times loading speeds. I think these ones are just fine, and I think they'll do the job as well as we need it to. So we'll replace all these trains with those, and if we take a look here, we're now operating at about half of the cost that we were before. So we went from 13 million all the way down to 16 million. And if we grab the other line here, we can replace them with the exact same vehicle and save ourselves about 15 million a year just solely on running costs. So now that's replaced, we'll need to give it some time to update, and maybe it'll even start making us money, since before we were losing a ton, and if we bring these expenses down by about half, we might be close to making some money on those lines. So coming back to our line statistics here, we can see the next significant line that's losing us money is this goods to the cargo hub line. I don't want to touch this one yet just because it's kind of new and we've done some stuff with it, so these numbers might not accurately reflect yet. But this line's been established and running for a while now, and it looks like we just have way too many cars for what it's actually taking. And if we take a look here, the train it's running with isn't even that bad. We might be able to get one that's even better for the same, if not cheaper. I think we could probably get one of these and do just about as good. Or maybe even these trains. They're even cheaper, although they might be a little bit weaker in terms of power. So I think this is the train we're going to go with. It seems like we don't even need that many cars to begin with. So if we just get a pretty cheap, efficient engine with 5 cars, I think we'll probably be doing pretty well. So that should also cut down a lot on our costs there. And just to double check, that was in Green Bay. So it's this goods factory. And it looks like it's doing fine, although it is sort of out of plastics, which is interesting. And I believe that's largely caused by a lot of the traffic we have right around here. So hopefully this traffic is getting a lot better. And actually I think this is pretty much the end of it, as we can see here. So it seems like a lot of that traffic was coming from Green Bay. Hopefully now that these trucks are able to move in and out of here, we can get more oil back to this chemical plant to fill up the goods factory. We will, however, quickly add some cargo buildings, just so we're not losing too many chemicals here. And I actually think we'll give this some more space, so we'll come in and delete that. Give it a little bit more platform space so these trucks have room to come in. Because what I want to do is actually replace these real quick. These are very old trucks, and if we look here, we have many more that we've recently unlocked. So we'll just go ahead and replace all those. And then we'll do the same on the other side here. And we might even get rid of a few because we've essentially doubled our capacity on here. So we can delete probably about 5 from there. And maybe 5 from this one as well. So that'll also help clear up our roads just a bit more. We can see they all started stacking up because they're now much longer, but they'll figure it out. We'll actually delete that road just to help traffic make a little more sense. Although the city clearly wants a road there. I'm trying to get it in. Actually, maybe we don't want that because I think that'll make a red light there. So we'll just do this. So I think we will add a bus lane here just for the trucks to use. I think the trucks can use bus lanes. Yeah, we can see some of these trucks are getting over into the bus lane, which is exactly what we want them to do, just so we can keep the private transportation moving throughout the city. Alright, so our expenses are starting to look a little bit better, and we are starting to make a profit, which is good. That might change as soon as vehicle maintenance hits, but it is a good sign for now. We'll just keep coming through here. I think we'll touch up one more before we end the video here. And for some reason it looks like these Clearwater trains aren't moving anything at the moment. Let's take a look here in Clearwater and see if there's an issue. There doesn't seem to be an issue. I think maybe we just got unlucky and both of the trains are currently headed back here. Yeah, this one's picking up a bunch of stuff. So it's interesting this one's losing us money. Perhaps maybe it is time for us to replace these. So let's just take a look at how much it needs. So it needs almost 90, about 90 of each, and then only 40 capacity for fuel. And maybe we could even get a better engine in here. Alright, so here's our new train. We can see it'll get up to speed pretty quickly. I'm not too sure how that compares with what we have now. And we've sort of evened out the capacities just a little bit more. So hopefully it won't have a bunch of unnecessary other things tagged along with it. But here's our new train coming in here. Alright, so hopefully we'll see with this new train how it'll fill up with its capacities. Hopefully it'll do pretty well. If we're not filling up like a few cars, that's pretty much fine. It gives us a little bit of room to grow when we eventually get around to redoing Clearwater, because obviously the demands will change when we can cover more of an area. But let's see how much it can pick up here. So this load might be even a little lighter since the other train did just come through here. And that does seem to be the case, as there's not even any machines waiting yet. Although we do have a load of machines coming in right now. Unfortunately, I don't think it's going to get here before this train leaves. But anyway, I think we did get a lot of this filled up, which is pretty nice, and I believe it is running a little bit cheaper than the previous one. It's running about $1.5 million cheaper, and hopefully that gets us back on track to making money. You can see if you took out our investments, which is all the trains we've replaced, we'd probably be making money at the moment. As we can see, our railroads are still doing that. So that's pretty much going to be it for this episode. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe. If you have any suggestions or feedback, leave a comment below. Thanks for watching and have a great day.